The Golden State Warriors are one of the more interesting teams of the 2021 season. Despite Klay unfortunately missing another season due to injury, there are still many things to look forward to with respect to this Warriors team this season. For one, Steph Curry is back and should have a great season barring injury. James Wiseman looks to be a promising big that looks to break the mold of just a prototypical run-and-dunk big man. And a more effective, more efficient version of Andrew Wiggins is something we could potentially see to some extent this season. But here's the thing. I'm not making this video to mislead you into thinking this Warriors team is something that they're not. I'm not here to clickbait you to suggest that Toscano freaking Anderson is going to morph into Klay Thompson and save the Warriors season. What's important for you to know as a Warrior fan or as an NBA fan in general is that you should be patient and realistic about this Warriors team. I'm in no way saying that this Warrior team will be mediocre or even a bad team, but what I am saying is that there will be highs, lows, and even stagnation at points throughout the season, which happens to pretty much every team in the league. I believe this Warriors team is a playoff team if Steph stays healthy for the majority of the season, and more importantly, this is not a title or bust year for the Warriors by any stretch. However, there is still a lot to gain out of this season, and as long as health and cohesiveness are on their side, they can be a playoff team as I mentioned before. But before we head further into the video, be sure to leave a like, as it only takes a second of your time but makes a massive difference. Also, if you end up enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos already on the channel. My social media links are on the screen right now and will be in the description, but without further ado, let's head right back into the video. One of the main things to look forward to this season with respect to this Warriors team is obviously the development of James Wiseman. He's only played 3 games at Memphis in college and didn't play any of the preseason games for this season. But despite that, Wiseman looked pretty impressive against the Nets. You can say all you want about him doing damage in garbage time, but again, I liked what I saw. Wiseman showed confidence in his play and even in his jumper. The jumper was the most intriguing part for me because it demonstrated how much of a hard worker he actually is. Coming out of college, the prospect of Wiseman stretching out to three-point line in the NBA was supposed to happen gradually, pretty much over the season or just a course of the first couple years of his career. Obviously it's still in progress, but he's progressing faster than we thought with respect to his outside shot. That's why it's impossible to root against this guy in the first place. He's a hard worker, and he's humble and self-aware. Being self-aware is a top 5 trait any human being can have because you have to acknowledge the areas that you're weak in order to improve upon those areas. And for Wiseman, you can see him put that work in at the gym, and you can see that evident in his game. He likes the tutelage of Draymond and the coaching staff, and he'll make adjustments accordingly to his game based off the feedback he gets and based off the footage that they review of his previous games. By taking those outside shots, even if it's just to a game, he's at least keeping the defense honest because the floor spacing isn't the greatest on this team in the first place. The progression of Andrew Wiggins as a better, more efficient version of himself is another thing I was looking forward to with respect to this Warriors team this season. And again, I said better version of himself. Andrew Wiggins didn't have the greatest of games against the Nets, but that's kind of okay. He had good looks, but he just couldn't knock them down. He committed a couple of turnovers and wasn't the greatest defensively, but that could be said about a lot of the members of this Warriors team that night. I urge everyone to be a bit more patient and a bit more realistic about Andrew Wiggins. He hopefully will bounce back from this game and have solid to even great performances in the future, and his play should only be concerning to us if 20 to 25 games from now, he's having pedestrian performances for a majority of the games. But I don't even think that will be the case. I think he'll bounce back from this. Andrew Wiggins is who he is. He's not going to magically morph into a player he never was in Minnesota, but under the tutelage of the veterans on this team and surrounded by this culture that the Warriors have built over the past couple of years, I think Andrew Wiggins can be a better version of himself. Even though it's not a title or bust season for the Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins' improvement is something of great importance to this team. For one, which is pretty obvious, the better Andrew Wiggins is, the more successful the Warriors will be this season. And if he proves to be a key contributor for this team on both ends of the floor, It just further improves their 2022 title odds when Klay comes back presumptively healthy. And secondly, the Warriors really can't afford for Wiggins to be bad this season, or just to be mediocre this season. Because if Wiggins were maintained mediocre or poor play throughout the season, it'll be very unlikely that they could be able to unload him via trade if they wanted to get rid of him due to his large contract, unless they want to take back another bad contract in exchange. Again, I'm not rooting against Andrew Wiggins, nor do I want him to fail, but I just want everyone to be more realistic with him and be more patient with him throughout the season. Overall, Steph Curry was solid but a bit rusty in that Brooklyn Nets game. He missed shots that he typically makes, but it's freaking Steph Curry. He's going to bounce back from this and be sensational throughout the rest of the year. He's not regressing by any stretch. He just hasn't played a great deal of NBA basketball outside those preseason games over the past year or so because of the hand injury. The spacing surrounding him this season isn't going to be the greatest given the personnel surrounding him, but it's Steph Curry. He's going to create something out of nothing and be sensational, as I said before. To wrap up this video, I do believe this Warriors team can be a playoff team if they don't have significant injuries throughout the season. But at the end of the day, this is not a title or bust season, so let's not overreact like every single game is do or die for this team. It's going to take time for this team to gel together because there's a lot of roster turnover from the 2018-2019 season to this 2020-21 season. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on this video, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos already on the channel. Thank you guys for watching, have a happy holiday, and stay tuned.